Yo, what is going on guys? My name is TheJackSilkstone and welcome to a room tour. That's right, I've filmed a few of these over my many years here on YouTube. We filmed that very first one back when I used to live at Thorpe Park, and then I filmed another one back when we spent some time in the Super Spark Cinema. However, we've been at this house for a good few years now. I've never got around to actually filming a room tour from this property, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So yeah, we're starting off in the landing, and the first thing I want to show you guys is the view from our balcony, because this is one of the key reasons why we chose this house. Take a look. So yeah, I like to just come out here on the balcony, take in the view with my morning coffee. Not bad at all. Yeah, let's show you the room itself. Whew, cold out there, isn't it? So yeah, here we are. My room is over here, just behind you, so I'll follow you in. Let me put that down. Now, before we actually go into the room itself, we're gonna start off with this. Now you might be thinking, Jack, that's literally just a light switch. However, I like to think it's a little bit more interesting than the average light switch, because this button, which obviously controls the lights, is permanently in this position in my room. And you may notice there's a tiny little dot right next to it. And with that, if I just tap my phone on that, then it should activate the lights in the room. And yeah, that's because all of the lighting in this room can all be controlled from my phone. So I've got a little panel here where I can activate show mode, as I like to call it. So yeah, I can turn all of the lights off. When I'm in bed, I don't have to get up and individually turn things off. I can have it in standard mode, which is what I normally have it in. Show mode whilst I work, which is a little bit more natural, but still got the colors. Basically, I'm a massive nerd, but I absolutely love it. So yeah, let's get the lighting on a nice standard for the room tour. So we're going to start off down this end of the room first, where we've got a lovely mirror and a massive potted plant. I think it's from IKEA, but I've always just had it in here, big fan of it. And then over on this windowsill here, we've got two picture frames, the first of which is a picture that means a hell of a lot to me. This is from the very first year of SLK SCN Unlocked. And then just over here, we've got another picture, which is the ghost train design that I made for the marketing when it changed from Darren Brown's ghost train to what it is today, Ghost Train. So yeah, quite proud of that one. So I put it up there. I should probably update these at some point, but I'm pretty happy with them for the moment. Now, if we look behind me, we've got admittedly a very, very nerdy piece. As you can see, it's a skateboard on my wall. Now, this was a Christmas present from my brother, and it's from one of my favorite TV shows / anime that I kind of grew up watching with my brother. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! So you're gonna see a hell of a lot of that throughout the room tour, I must admit. But yeah, we've got the Dark Magician Girl on there, and we've got the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card right next to it. And just behind that, we've got our first bit of theme park merchandise. We've got this big old Hyperia board. This was used by Thorpe Park themselves in the build-up to Hyperia as like an advertising piece. And it was one of the first times the Thorpe Park logo was ever printed onto anything at Thorpe Park, was this exact board. So yeah, bit of a cool one there. And I like to just keep that over in the corner. Now, if we come round now, I'm not going to show you everything in this wardrobe because I've got far too many clothes. My girlfriend always says I've got more clothes than her, and I like to disagree. She's nodding. So I won't show you too much, but I will show you my two favorite pieces from SLK SCN Unlocked over the years. I like to get something like really nice for those events, because it's like the biggest night of my year. So this was a piece I wore back in 2023, a nice little palace piece, absolutely gorgeous. And then this one is what I wore last year. It's a little bit out there. It's the gold North Face Supreme jacket. This was not easy to get hold of, but I thought, you know what? I've got Hyperia for my event. This is the one opportunity where I can go a little bit out there and wear this absolute monstrosity. But yeah, I'm not going to get rid of it. It's going to always live with me as an amazing memory from that night. Now, next up, we have got one of the crown jewels of the room itself. It is my desk area. So here we got a 3-monitor setup here, which a lot of people might think is a little bit over the top. But these are my kind of key monitors that I'll use to like edit on. And then this one, I'll have YouTube up here. I'll be watching the football. I can literally have a film on whilst I edit down on these. And yeah, it's just a nice way to have something on, but not necessarily always be watching it, because my eyes are always down here. And then I can glance up every now and then if I want to. Now, in terms of a desk as a whole, it is obviously a desk that I can just come and work at, beep, 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 beep. But it also is a standing desk, so it's motorized to basically go all the way up to a standing desk. So I won't do it all right now, but it gets to the point where I can work standing up if I'm bored of sitting down and I just need to get my legs moving. Now, if we look over in this back corner, you might have to like squeeze right in there. You can see I don't actually use tripods on my desk. I use these kind of, I don't actually know what they're called, but they basically clamp on to save floor space. So when I'm live streaming, I'll have my camera up on this one, and then this is obviously the kind of key light that will light me up. And then yeah, around the kind of desk area, we've got all different posters from the different eras of Fright Nights. These were actually printed out originally for the Maze Studio 13. They made like loads of fake movie posters for all the previous mazes. As you guys know, Fright Nights is like my favorite time of the year. I'm so inspired by Fright Nights, so I like to have those right next to my desk, so as I'm working I can always look at my favorite maze, for example, Cabin in the Woods over there. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, in terms of the lighting over here, once again, just like all of the lighting in this room, it is completely controlled by my phone. So I can literally have it off during the day when the window blinds are open. And then once it gets dark and I close those, I can turn the desk lights on separately to the rest of the room. Now, if we look over here, this is a baby that I'm very proud of. I spent a hell of a lot of money finding a way to get content onto this thing. This is actually a TV that belonged to my nan and then my mum, and then I kind of took it back when we filmed those very first Fright Nights teaser videos. I've now brought it home and I'm avoiding showing you it, but there's a hell of a lot of wires and like transmitters, and I don't even know what you call them all, but there are so many wires. I figured out how to get my own content plan on here and I'm very proud of it. I spent way too much on it, but I eventually got it going. Now, just before we go onto the desk itself, if you look underneath, we've got this beautiful Yu-Gi-Oh rug. That was from my good friend James. He literally got it for me as a surprise. And then we've got the PC down here with the speaker setup as well. That's kind of the mother load that takes all of the footage that I collect and stores it all on there. So yeah, happy days. But in terms of the desk itself, we've got all sorts of collectibles on here that are basically my favorite things that I can look at all of the time, because this is where I spend the majority of my life, at this desk. So I've got my absolute favorites here. First of all, we've got this very cool Planet Coaster 2 coaster. This was given to us at the Planet Coaster 2 event. So I like to have my drink on that. And then across the desk, we start off with this beautiful mug. This is from the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World. Very hard to get this. I went into a shop on my first day of the holiday, refused to buy it because I was like, oh, what if I see something else at one of the different theme parks? Turns out it's super rare and it had sold out like everywhere. So I should have got it on that first day and I spent the entire holiday looking for it. Luckily, my good friend Regan managed to pick it up for me when she was there a few weeks later. We've then got the X Pyramid over there. Obviously, X is one of my favorite rides ever made. It's no longer in existence. It's now known as The Walking Dead, the ride, but yeah, I love that building and that ride. We then got a little Duck Pal, absolute legend. We've got a Travis Scott Lego minifigure. Arch Nemesis got me that one and it's very cool. So I like to sit in there, my favorite music artist. We've then got this awesome Animal Kingdom plate. Zach Hustler gave me that and I've always loved it. Animal Kingdom's one of my favorite theme parks in the world. We've then got a little Remy the Rat vehicle. Now, at this point, I should mention that you'll probably see loads of ducks throughout this video. My girlfriend thinks it's funny to just put ducks everywhere in this room. So there's literally one up there, there's one there, and you'll probably have seen loads already. But as we continue this tour, you'll probably start noticing the ducks. I notice new ones every day. We've then got a little Coca-Cola bottle from Batu, obviously Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This is how they sell Coke in that Coca-Cola in that part of the theme park, because it's so themed to Star Wars and like outer space. So that's very cool. I don't even like Coca-Cola, but I managed to get one. We then got another figurine from Yu-Gi-Oh! And then here, if you've been to Europa Park, you'll know Snorri. Absolute legend. He's kind of the mascot of Rulantica, so he deserves a spot there. And then we've got a candle over here. I've been really getting into my candles recently, guys. And this is one I currently got. It's from, well, it's supposed to smell like a Flight of Passage, which is one of my favorite rides in the world, obviously over at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Themed to Avatar, absolutely incredible ride indeed. And yeah, that brings us to the other end of the room. And at this point, I should admit I'm a little bit of a fraud. Obviously, in the thumbnail for this video, I haven't made it yet, but I think there's going to be a Logger's Leap boat. And as you can see, it is clearly not a Logger's Leap boat. I wish it was, and let me show you why that is in the thumbnail. Because basically, again, I'm very much a nerd. Whenever I move into a new room, I like to map it out in some 3D software. So this is the room that we're currently in. And yeah, as you can see, I've obviously shown you all of this part of the room. And I literally measured if my room would fit a Logger's Leap boat. And the plan was, I was literally gonna find a way to get one of those Logger's Leap boats, because like a good year or so ago, before they went on auction, I was offered the chance to have one. And I measured it up and everything, and it wouldn't fit within the room itself, and I was gonna turn it into a bed. It would have been the saddest thing I've ever done. But it was just getting it actually within the building, because it wouldn't have fit in a direction that you could then get it through the door. So believe me, I tried, and I was gonna pad it all out with a big custom mattress, and I was gonna be tucked up in bed in my Logger's Leap boat. But unfortunately, it's just not possible. Like, I have tried so hard. One day I will sleep in a Logger's Leap boat, or my children maybe will one day, but I'll make that happen. In terms of the wall art, up here we've got two Disney prints. Disneyland Paris has always been one of my favorite theme parks in the world. My mum used to take me and my brother there back when we were kids, so I've got so many happy memories from Disney. So I've got two of my favorite kind of buildings in Disneyland Paris. We've got Le Château de Belle au Bois Dormant, which is the Castle of Sleeping Beauty, and Space Mountain over here, not Hyperspace Mountain, the original. And then the TV, I'll admit, does need upgrading, and I'm gonna do that soon. Duck on top of that, I've just noticed him. But I've actually got a little camera thing on here, which basically maps what is on the screen. And if I was to turn the TV on, again, I can do all of this from my phone, then the lighting on the back basically reacts to whatever is on the screen. So when I'm in bed at night and all of the lights are off, then as you can see, whatever comes up on the screen basically is reflected through the lighting behind it, which is very cool. Let me turn that off though. Because yeah, behind me, we've got 3 posters for each year of SLK STN Unlocked. As I'm sure you guys know at this point, this is the event that I run every year at Thorpe Park. I hire out Thorpe Park Fright Nights, and yeah, it's been running for 3 years now. This is the very first year, and this poster I worked with Toby on, absolute legend. Obviously worked with Blair on this one. She's so talented, hand drew all of this stuff on here. Such a talented person. And then over here we've got last year's event, my favorite SLK STN Unlocked, which I worked with Josh on the poster, and again, he absolutely smashed it. So yeah, that event means the absolute world to me, so that's why I have each poster. I don't know what I'm gonna do if we have the event again in 2025. I'm gonna have to find space for another poster, I don't know. And then yeah, over on the bed we've got my good pal, I call him Pablo the Pumpkin. He's currently wearing the Thorpe Park Ranger hat. Look at him, absolute legend. This is a present that my girlfriend got me, and as I'm sure you guys know, I love Halloween, so the fact he's in a little pumpkin makes me smile a lot, and I like to put the Thorpe Park Rangers hat on him. Very good. Now above the bed we have got one of my posters, which are available down in the description of this video. This is the Northern Lights one, which is, I must say, one of the best photos I think I've ever taken. absolutely love this picture. It means so much to me. Obviously, I followed the entire process of Hyperia being built, and I feel like that photo is like the crown jewel for me. And then on either side of it, again, very nerdy, we've got some of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And then over here, we've got probably the crown jewel of my room. This is quite a new addition when I came into this room. A lot of this stuff kind of traveled with me from house to house as the years went on. But this was new when I came into this massive room. And yeah, as you can see, it's got all sorts of memorabilia on here. I feel like I should start with this shelf right here. I'm a big fan of Lego, and this is a piece that I've wanted for so long. And this Christmas, I got given it as a present. So I built it, but it doesn't end there, because once again, from my phone, as you can see, look at that. I'm able to light it up. It took me so long to install all of these lights in here. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of like botanical gardens and like garden centers. It sounds so stupid. So when they released the Lego one, I was like, yes, that's a bit of me. And as you can see, it's got a beautiful little custom SLKSTN brick on there, which is very cool. But yeah, I feel like we should go from shelf to shelf. So we'll start down at the bottom. So down on this bottom shelf, we've just got a lot of kind of theme park stuff. We've got the free cups from the different years of SLKSTN unlocked. You've got different cards that I put out with different merchandise that I've done over the years. Then we've got two of my favorite rides in the UK. We've got Oblivion and Stealth. And then all of these maps just behind are all maps that I actually designed for Thorpe Park. So it took me weeks and weeks to design all of these key visuals. And then, yeah, when I got told that they were going to be used for the maps, I was like, oh my God, that's insane. Like, I've designed a piece of Thorpe Park history. I've designed like a cover of a map, which if you was to tell childhood Jack that, then he wouldn't believe you. So yeah, that's very cool. And I'm very proud to have done that. If we go up a shelf again, we've got a lot of theme park memorabilia on here. A lot of these things I was kind of given by people on like the opening day of Hyperia. Like this is a sick 3D model of the ride. And then we've got different kind of logos and stuff. We've got a little Planet Coaster book back there. You've got the Hyperia beer. It might be a bit weird. It looks really weird, in fact, that I literally have a picture of younger me on my shelf. But this was actually used in the Do or Die Fright Nights maze. There was a room based on Sanctum, I think it was called, where basically the Walking Dead characters get tricked to go somewhere and there's loads of dead people's pictures. And yeah, in the maze, one of those pictures was me. And I remember being like so amazed that my face was in there, because that was like the first time I'd ever been incorporated into a maze. So yeah, very cool. We've then got the Ducks front row on Stealth, little Lego model there. As I said, big fan of Lego. And then we've got two tarot cards, which were given out during Thorpe Park's Carnival back in 2023. We've got 236, which obviously teased Hyperia. And then we've got the Migration, which teased the end of Angry Birds Land. And yeah, not many people managed to figure out what that one meant. Just behind that, we've got a lovely little certificate, and you might think this is just a normal Hyperia certificate, but no, no, no. This is actually a really rare one, because the date on this is the 25th of May. And of course, Hyperia opened on the 24th of May. It had an amazing opening day. They gave out loads of certificates. And then it was due to open the next day, but it closed for a good few weeks of downtime. But they obviously printed loads of certificates ready to give out to people that day. So yeah, I was lucky enough to get my hands on a 25th of May Hyperia certificate, which is very rare indeed. We've then got a selection of different kind of theme park books and stuff just down here. This one is actually from Alton Towers. It's kind of based on the original haunted house. However, I was in Towers trading at Alton Towers itself, and I noticed that this one had actually been signed by the author of the book. I checked all of the others and none of the others' books had a signature. So yeah, I literally took it straight to the checkout and went and bought it. That is so cool. Now if we look a shelf up, we've got a lovely little plant, but these are actually bolts from Hyperia. They were bolts that were kind of no longer being used on the construction site, and I was able to take them home. So yeah, these are the bolts that kind of hold in the track and supports for the UK's tallest roller coaster. So, so cool. If we look over here, we've got some more Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. Again, I'm a massive nerd. Got a little pin badge down here, which is an IAPA speaker. IAPA is, of course, a massive kind of trade show / conference for the theme park industry. And in 2022, I had the amazing opportunity to go on stage and do a talk about kind of how theme parks work with content creators. So that pin badge is something I'm super proud of. And that's why it lives on the shelf. If we move up a level, we've obviously got the Lego. I've shown you that already. We've got even more of my favorite books, all kind of theme park design books and like behind the scenes stuff. So this is a book all about how Rulantica, the massive water park in Germany, is made. Amazing stuff. And that is kind of helping me make my Hyperia book, because obviously I've got so many photos from the creation of Hyperia. So I kind of bought that when I was in Germany to give me inspiration on how to make my own book. And we're now getting up to the really good shelves, some of my favorite ones, which are obviously at eye level. This is the kind of Fright Night / Thorpe Park shelf. You've got the VHS tapes that we used in the first ever Fright Nights filming that we did for Thorpe Park. So I've got a number of those lined up. Again, I've got some more of the tarot cards, which were used to tease the maze Stitches back during Carnival. And then we've got even more Lego over here. There's a duck going down the River Thames. And we've got all these different maps that I've done for SLKSTN Unlocked, and obviously my poster collection booklet that you get when you order the posters. If we go up another shelf again, we've got a really cool Tutatis scenery piece there amongst the plants. Over here, we've got even more bolts from Hyperia. This one is actually from Jumanji, Mandrill Mayhem, I should say, over at Chessington. And these are once again from the world of Jumanji at Chessington. These were given to me by B&E, obviously the company that have worked on so many Merlin projects, and they were working on Hyperia at the time. When I went to visit their workshops, they gave me this awesome kind of snake piece from Jumanji. It goes on top of like the gate posts in that land. On this middle shelf, we've got a bit of a crown jewel here. We've got this clock tower from Disneyland Paris. Now, I got this with my girlfriend back in December. She told me about this mythical clock iron that you could buy from the Disneyland Hotel, but it was so hard to get hold of. So one day we went there super early and it was in stock, but obviously because we were going into the park, we couldn't buy it at that point. So we had to go back later in the day, and there was literally like 1 or 2 left. And I managed to get it. And it was very, very stressful getting it back over to England on the flight. I was so scared all of these like little details were gonna break, but thank God it got back. This is very much a Disney shelf though. We've got Space Mountain from Florida in that corner, and Tower of Terror also from Florida over in this corner. And then I've got my Disney badges from different kind of times. And then we've got some Disney playing cards as well, and a nice Space Mountain book in the corner. We go onto the top shelf now. As you can see, we've got some Pandora Lego. I'm very much a big fan of Lego, as I said. And yeah, Pandora is one of my favorite theme park areas in the world. So I got myself a nice mug and the Lego to go along with it. This might be the saddest thing I've got in my room. I've got a Happy Meal box from when McDonald's collabed with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Hello Kitty. And I literally went to McDonald's so many times when this collab was going on to collect all of the toys. I managed to get the entire collection and I was so happy. And yeah, they live right at the top of my shelf. Next to it, we've got a cool little Supreme Game Boy and like an old Pentax camera, Gotham City mug, and a Travis Scott book. So yeah, that is the shelf. These are all of my favorite things. And I like to just kind of see them as I come in and out of the room. Now over here, we've got my very messy looking, admittedly, kind of clothing rack, but these are all of like the essential things that I use to either leave the house or if I'm staying in the house. So for example, this is my dressing gown. As you can see, it's a lovely official Hollywood Tower Hotel dressing gown. Obviously the brand that kind of runs the Tower of Terror, the Hollywood Tower Hotel. That's my dressing gown. Let me pop that on. Next to it, we've got the classic Supreme coat. I wear this all the time. You've probably seen this countless of times in all of those Hyperia updates. I've got a selection of high-vis. This one's from the world of Jumanji. We've got the high-vis that I wear when I'm working with Kieran. And then this one is the very first kind of Project Exodus high-vis. So you might recognize that from this photo that I took way back before Old Town was being destroyed. This is kind of like the very start of that journey. So crazy to look back on. Got some hats over here. And then this one is quite a funny one. This is my Planet Coaster 2 coat. We were given this again on that Planet Coaster 2 event. It's a nice little waterproof along with a waterproof bag over there. And yeah, that is my room tour. As I said, I like to film one of these every time I'm in like a new space, because this is where I spend the majority of my time. So yeah, hopefully it gives you guys a little insight into my life and the things that I like to surround myself with. If you've got any questions about anything you saw in this room tour, feel free to leave them down in the comments. And again, feel free to leave any kind of video suggestions that you want to see in the future. We've got a very theme park oriented garage / bar out in the garden, and I'm soon going to be in the process of building a studio. So if you guys want to see videos from that once that's set up, then feel free to let me know. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. My name is TheJackSilkstone. Goodbye.